I would like to invite our first speaker, Professor Dr. Ivan Low. So before that, let me read his biodata. Very, very long biodata. Very, very impressive. Professor Dr. Ivan Low from the Faculty of Economics and Business, University Malaysia Sarawak. Currently, he's Editor-in-Chief, International Journal of Business and Society, Editor, Kogan Economics and Business, Associate Editor, International Journal of Governance and Financial Intermediation, several editorial board, for example, like Journal of Management and Kewirausahaan. I think this is from Indonesia, right, Prof. Ivan? And then editorial board, Capital Market Review. Before that, he was the Deputy Dean for Research and Postgraduate at the Faculty of Economics and Business. He also Director of Center for because he also received many research. For example, winning include Young Research Award in UNIMAS, Excellent Service Award. He also was listed among the top 10 economists in Malaysia since 2008 and the top 12 in Asia since 2012 by the Research Papers in Economic Report. Very, very impressive. Congratulations, Prof, for your great achievement. I think without further ado, I would like to invite you to start the session. The floor is yours.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Fazli. And I'm very honored to be here this morning with the esteemed team from the association AACIM and also the members and also the participant this morning. So I would start by sharing my screen first. Oh, it says this is disabled. So
okay, Mr. Kemal, can you allow?
Yeah. But yeah, then it's very, I'm very honored to be here this morning, despite that we could not meet face to face. But this is a kind of platform that we have for the past 1 year within this pandemic, and it have been good, I'm sure, for everyone that we get used to this kind of talking in front of the computer, meeting up people virtually. And go to a place virtually. So this is a rather interesting kind of environment. I mean, at this particular moment. So yeah, I'm still waiting for the approval from the for the screen approval. Yep, maybe I could not share my slides here, but it's okay. The idea of I think what I've been giving the task here this morning, hopefully to benefit everyone here, is to talk a little bit on the so-called publication, especially in the international, especially in the reputable international journal. So in that particular sense, we are more focused. Every one of us who are involved and in academia, actually, in a way or one another, actually, we are in a way actually are forced. I use the word force. We are actually to force in a way, in a good way, force in a good way to publish in international reputable journal. Can everyone see these slides right now? Yes. Okay. Thank you. So so I'll start that as a part of the beginning. What I'm going to talk about. So this is the menu for this morning. For the next about 40 minutes, I will finish up this presentation of the allocated time, and you can address or you can put some question in the chat box. Certainly, as been mentioned by Prof. Fazli just now. So I have and thanks that to read out a little bit of myself, my background and so on. So I'm at University Malaysia Sarawak, here in the island of Borneo, which is actually just the border of Kalimantan, and we have Brunei here also in this particular island. So we have 3 countries in this particular island at the side of the East Malaysia side in University Malaysia Sarawak. Those of you who have not been here to University Malaysia Sarawak, please do come after this pandemic. You're always welcome here to inform me while you're here. So this is the menu for this morning. I will talk a little bit on an issue of a publish or perish, certainly which academia are facing right now. It's not a new thing, but it's good to be reminded then here in the day. And I will look at the perspective number 2 on the journal dilemma and challenges, as what Prof Fazli already said just now, scarcity in the space of the journal. So I'll talk a little bit more on the perspective of a journal perspective. And then number 3 there is about finding the right mix. So you need to find, for me, I use the word mix and equilibrium, is that the author sent the article, the journal have a limited space, and then you need to find the equilibrium so that both sides will be agreed, and they agree to publish your paper, our paper, as a researcher. And what's the way forward for that? All right, this little bit of me as an infographic. I will not go through this part. You can always see what I have achieved so far. I graduated from UPM, so actually I'm also part of the UPM family in that sense. So to start off a little bit of this thing, maybe those of you, I mean, every one of us this morning right now who have their smartphone with you can always scan this QR. This is what the technology is all about. You scan the QR, you just key in the question that I put there. Why conduct research in that sense? So those of you, I leave few minutes for everyone to have to do this. The question is very straightforward and simple. Why conduct research? You can write just one sentence. Later on, maybe I'll share the outcome of it. I'll share the outcome while we're seeing. This is a live poll, so certainly we can always see the outcome as soon as possible. But then again, I'll share it out. So please do this one, or you can browse this. But the fastest way is just using your QR, your camera, and then you will go straight away to the live poll of Mentimeter, right?
I'm done.
Okay, thank you. Let us see the result in a while. Like while I'm talking, this one I will try to look at the particular result and share with it later, right? So this one just now, those of you who have done it, thank you very much. So see why we conduct research, right? From the perspective of yours, I'll share that at the last part later. All right, so this is what we are going into. The question is that why we conduct research from the research perspective, from the textbook perspective, from the university perspective, from the academia perspective. Actually, we publish certainly is because we want to share our research. We want to share our research with the whole world. We want to share the research with everyone else. We want to communicate the new knowledge. We want to increase visibility, impact, and establish. And certainly in the end is to create the new knowledge, the innovative new knowledge. So every research that we do and every researcher do is actually for knowledge-wise, right? That's the whole idea here. Why we publish. So for the question just now, if you answer, this is your answer, this is part of the answer, they'll be good. Also, I would expect some other answers that are much more straightforward. So why do we publish actually? From that particular point of view, right? I start off with this. So the part 1 there is the part 1 that I'm going to talk about in my menu is publish or perish syndromes. This is the bird eye view from University Malaysia Sarawak. So here this picture says 1,000 words. It's like rather than looking into the wording down there by Wolfgang Pauli, one of the Nobel Prize winner in physics, it's like when you see the picture, it's like this person do not publish. It's publish or perish, and if not, have to be punished. So if you're not published, you have to be punished like this in such a way. So the university setting today, the university setting today, doesn't matter where we are in this part of the world, very much like this. That's the total reality. If you're not publishing accordingly to the KPI, that be given for each of us as an academia, we might be penalized in such a way. Maybe there's no pay rise, there's no such other thing, you know, which in the words that whether we want to publish or we want to perish. So if we publish, where should we publish? What should we do? What kind of things that we should do? So that kind of thing. There's no promotion, there's no salary increment, and so on and so on. You don't have chance to have a postgraduate student and so on. To certain university, if you're not professor, you can't become an external examiner in Malaysia. I'm talking about experience in Malaysia, or to some, if you don't graduated a student, then you can't also become an external examiner. So I think that's quite a common so-called requirement in Malaysian university. So it's quite pretty hard, and it's not that's part of graduation, which is student PhD. Supervision is part of also publication related. If you don't publish, they will not you will not also becoming the external examiner. Some university look at hash index. In Scopus hash index. If your Scopus hash index do not achieve certain numbers, you can't become external examiner also. So this one really go back to our job as academia, not just teaching, but also doing publication and others work, like having this association and so on. So this is interesting, something to share with you. It's a poem that written and published in a journal, Emerald. It's an Emerald journal. Published a poem somewhere back in 2000. This should be 2012, some years ago, 10 years back. That you see the abstract and you see the poem. That's it, published, one page. Wow, that might be very interesting. So this is a publication itself, right? Right. But it written there very clearly in the poem. You need to publish. You need to publish to get the tenure in a certain university. And other tasks, you know, administration tasks, public relation tasks, and to become part of the academic world and so on, to have a reputation. So that kind of syndrome is still there, although it's not new anymore. So again, while I'm talking about that, I move forward to this part, what I call as a game plan. What's your game plan actually? I use the word game because it seems like publishing for me right now, it seems like playing a game. When I just graduated my PhD some years ago, I graduated my PhD back in 2004. Wow, that was there was quite some time ago, back in UPM for my PhD. So then it was not so crazy about this publication and so on. But this craziness come into picture, especially in Malaysia, at least 10 years back, and everyone talks about Scopus Q1, Q2, and everything else. And this craziness has been spilled over to Indonesia. Right? I use the word spill over because I also have numbers of engagement with Indonesia universities, and I also last year I got the with this Muhammadiyah University, Universitas Muhammadiyah, we have a kind of a collaboration, and then the ministry, actually we got the grant, the world-class professor grant. So I got that grant with my collaborator. So it's a recognition from the ministry in Indonesia. Anyhow, so go back to this game plan. What we normally have here, right, is that we have this. This is a standard. This is the standard where you can see in any research paper from title up to references. But normally is that which one should we start first when we want to do a research? If me, from my perspective, normally I will start here first. I will start review first. I'll start read the article, review some article, and see what types of research that we're supposed to go. And then after that, I go introduction, and then I go the methodology, and then after that you have the results, and then you write your conclusion, and then you go back to your abstract, your title, and so on and so on. So that's the game plan of mine. So everyone might have a different set of game plan, but this one is a standard so-called structure that you see in the paper. But which one we should start first? as a game plan. My game plan is that I start a review first. I read papers first, right? So here is like a wheel of fortune. It's a wheel of publication. We start, we read, we write, we discuss, we present some of the work in conferences with our friends and so on, and then we submit, and then we read again and write again and so on. And here, this one is very important. Passionately wait when you submit to a journal. So it's like a wheel of fortune in that particular sense, a wheel of publication. So what should we have because of this publish or perish? We are in a way we are forced to publish. What should as a contain, at least in a research paper, the game plan, right? Certainly when the editor's point of view, when they read the journal article, they want to see, we want to ensure that our introduction is solid, interesting, attractive. Attractive title, attractive introduction, attractive first few sentence, which, you know, hit it in a way. So certainly abstract too. I'll talk a little bit on abstract in a while. Unique data set, well explained, well motivated, and then you have a good presentation, discussion, link elsewhere. This is more on the result part already. And then robustness test. This is quite heavy today, robustness. They look into robustness tests in most of those top journal today. Most of the top journal in impact factor journal today. We test our model, but they want us to do more. The reviewer wants us to do more. So that is what required right now in most of the big journal, but not all. The big journal that normally that I gone through also. So do not ignore the importance of abstract, because abstract is like a preview of what you do and a conclusion surely. So always ask ourselves what is new. What is new in the paper, what you can learn, what others could learn. And I always tell people, my colleague, my students, and almost everyone that localized issue can be very important, but you have to make sure you have international appeal. Local issue, international appeal. Like this one I just shared, one of my paper published in Social Indicator Research with a bunch of my research friends from Malaysia and Italy. It's just very straightforward kind of research that what we do normally in each semester, each class, that students evaluate us. So I take that a little bit, we take that a little bit further. We add another variable, we add few more variables, which is physical attractiveness. Why student registered for the class? Why, how they evaluate? Are they looking into the abilities or the attractiveness, physical attractiveness, or the lecturer, and psychological factors? Look into that perspective. We write it, do the questionnaire, and I managed to publish this in 2019 using questionnaire method, using the PLS, smart PLS, with friends of mine here, right? So this is another one. This is quite localized issue because this is from Malaysia perspective, and the journal is not Malaysian journal, right? It's an impact factor journal. Quite, I think should be Q2 if it's impact factor, right? This one, tourism management, I think is quite famous journal in Elsevier. This one, from the perspective, you see that I'm taking this word, ethnic food consumption, intention of touring. So there's two things there, tourism and food consumption, but focus on ethnic group. Focus more into more localized issue, Dayak food. Dayak is here in this island of Borneo. So the focus is Dayak food, consumption, tourism. All right. And then they have a proper methodology, adopt it with this not written by mine, but my friends. And they publish it in tourism management, also a very good journal in so-called tourism-based industry, journal. So this is another one, also very localized issue. It's just looking into music festival here in Sarawak, here in Miri. It's a city in Miri. They have a jazz festival happening every year, and they look into that perspective, look into the local and the local and international participant, or in that particular sense, and then they provide a link to tourism, surely. Published in one of the Emerald Journal in event and festival management. Quite a good journal also, Scopus Index, right? So and then look into another perspective is that what types of model or game that we can play in terms of that. I look into that general terms. Are we doing a lucky model? Luck model means that we send just by luck, oh, it get published. You can have that kind of model. The second one is that social influence model means that you have good relationship with the editors. So the editors might publish your paper. So you publish in friends article, journal. Yeah, some do that in that particular sense. So this type of model that we think over the years discussion with my other friends. The other model is that you have a guru co-author. The big name is there, which push your papers into several good journals and so on in your particular field, right? The fourth one will be intrinsic quality of the paper, means that the paper get published is because of the quality of the paper itself, right? Because of the quality papers of itself. Number 5 there is that it fits in the journal mission or the aim of the journal, right? Certainly, if it's an business and marketing journal, you don't send some sciences paper inside there, and or medical paper because it's non-related. So it's certainly will get rejected. It says it doesn't fit in my the aim of the journal, right? So certainly, and the last model is that there's a model also called pay to publish. You submit today, maybe you get some notification of acceptance few days later or few weeks later. The kind of model that being used today. So I can list down few of this model of publication model or publication game model, right? Move forward to that. As I said just now, abstract is like a preview, a sneak peek, an advertisement of your paper. So that 100 words, 150 words, 200 words is very, very, very important. And the title to attract the editor, to attract the reviewer. Some reviewers and as a reviewers too, from my perspective, reviewers and editors too, from my perspective, editors are quite busy people. They see the paper, they skim through the title, they look at the abstract, then they will decide, should we go on? Should we not go on? Right. So abstract there is very important. It's like preview what you want to do. That 100 words, very important. Emerald style, you have a structured kind of abstract. Other than Emerald, it's called unstructured. But so it's up to you. So you want to send, if you want to send to Emerald, please do structured one. If you want to send to other journal, they normally go for unstructured, including the journal that I'm editing, right? So so it depends on where you want to send. So Emerald are very structured. So standalone and normally no reference and quite brief and self-concise, self-explain in a summary about this. Certain journal only 100 words, certain journals, especially those journals which latest, like finance research later, applied economic latest, and so on and so on, management latest maybe. And this is one example of Emerald. This is Emerald style. I'm sure everyone know that Emerald style, which has a very structured one, purpose, design, findings, originality is inside there. This is one case study. This is from British Food Journal. It's also quite a good journal, especially if you do something related to food. From marketing management perspective, could publish in this journal too, and some other food consumption and so on can be tried inside here. All right, so now I look into the second part. Actually, this is part 2, although I didn't write update. This is part 2. It's not part 1. This is part 2, is that journal perspective also, we have the journal. This one also gathered with my friends. What we have, what is the dilemma, what's the challenges, what Prof. Fazli said just now, scarcity. It's a real issue, scarcity. We have demand, but supply not enough. The supply is not enough, from demand is too high. So this one is related to number 1, influx of submission. Once any journal who get into Scopus, the next one, they know that this journal is Scopus, everyone will send to it. Again, this is because of the demand from the KPI of the universities. So people get crazy. Oh, Scopus, everyone send to them. So influx of submission. Sometimes we can't even, this from a perspective, we can't even reply properly and so on. So so it comes, sometimes takes a while and it delayed. But different from what other publishers are doing. Our given a very extreme publisher that are doing like MDPI. MDPI are doing different types of business model or journal management system and related to that, right? Influx of submission. The journal also concerned about ranking, indexing, not just the individual authors, not just the university. Journal also. This way it's been ranked. The Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4. It's like stock market. This year Q3, suddenly you drop Q4, and suddenly you're no longer in Scopus. Suddenly you've been delisted. Suddenly, and so this is also the concern. Right, there's also the concern in the journal. Financial sustainability, depending how we manage the journal, how the costs been used. If the journal still do printing, hard copy printing, then there'll be costs there. Or the journal, some journal pay the reviewer, some journal have to pay the system, and so on and so on and so on. So it has some kind of financial sustainability, money involved in that sense. This one, number 4 related, number 2 just now, citation also important. Citation will links to ranking, indexing. Citation, Scopus says, if you want to become part of us in Scopus, you must be cited by Scopus Journal. Tapi kita belum Scopus lagi. Contoh lah, if we have not Scopus yet, how is Scopus Journal going to cite us? Same thing goes to impact factor. If you want to become impact factor journal, the journals must be cited by impact factor journal. That's true from their perspective, but how could we promote the journal and ask the authors which write in impact factor cite our journal? From that perspective. Right? Publishing trend. For the past 1 year, and it will be carried on for the next maybe 1 or 2 years to come, I see that is that everyone, most of the journal now are crazily about COVID-19 issue. They want to be the champion of publishing the most in COVID-19 issue, right? Related, doesn't matter what field you are in. So the trend change, and the journal editors must know what is going on now, what is new. The IR 4.0 maybe and COVID right now and so on. So that's the trend. We must know. The journal also sometimes have a demand from the university KPI, because the university want to achieve KPI. They say that, oh, you publish our paper. So the top management demand. Smart partnership, we always do that. IJBS, International Journal of Business and Society, which I'm the editor, and some other journals which are also part of the editorial board. We have some engagement with certain local and international conferences. We have supported numbers of conferences from Indonesia actually, and other parts of the world. So that kind of smart partnership, whether it's special issue, whether it's a fast track review, and so on and so on and so on. So we have this kind of thing, right? Recognition and journal management, which might not be easy as what people think. I always tell my colleagues that managing a journal is like managing a conference non-stop, because papers keep coming in. There's no ending. You finish up an issue, you publish the issue, it's still coming in, rolling. So, and the recognition, yeah, you get the recognition, but it's fun to do it at some point. Good reviewers, never easy to find. But I'm thankfully that we have a pool of reviewers, right? The reviewers are not easy to find. And that is the challenge, not only for our journal, not only for the journal that I'm edited, but the others which I'm part of the editorial board. Sometimes associate editor, they ask us to find editors. Find the reviewers. It's not easy. It's not easy. Visibility also related to all that I'm saying just now up here, ranking and citation and competition. You must know who are your competitors. Who are your competitors? Why Scopus want to put you as a Scopus journal? Why Web of Science or Clarified Analytics want to ensure that you are part of Impact Factor journal? You must know who are your competitors. In Malaysia, we have numbers of journals that fall under almost the same field of ours. So we must know them. You must know who are the editors. Be friends and see what we can do. Kind of collaboration, right? And then after that, once you have the paper, we off to journal, right? We off send to journal, and then we wait. I call that waiting game. We wait 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, until sometimes, no reply, right? This one just now I already mentioned this one. Sorry for the repeated. And then we move to the we move to the other part is that, you know, the challenge and dilemma part of it from the author perspective is that what's the most common reason for rejection? This from the editor point of view also is that it's lack of motivation, no sufficient contribution to the literature, poorly written, not flow very well, don't have proper methodology and so on, not interesting, and these are common rejection, right? And say rejection, get used to it, keep trying. We can be sad for a few days, try again, 2 days from now, 3 days from now. I also get a lot of rejection. This month, so far, thank God, I don't have rejection yet from the journal. This first quarter of the year, I've been rejected from journal. I sent three papers been rejected and resend it again to other journals. So that's interesting part of being an academia, right? Don't feel bad. Don't take it personal attack and so on. And rework, reevaluate, relook, and so on. All right. Part 3, finding the right mix, the equilibrium. Selecting the right journal is like finding the significant other. Sometimes this is a very important thing. You write the paper, where you want to send, or you target the journal first, and then you send, and then you write accordingly to that journal format. Which one comes first? Your choice. As an author, our choice as an author, right? When we choose the journal, stick like a glue. Follow the guideline, word limits, and so on. Like for example, I give one example: finance research letter. Those of you in finance research letter, only 2,500 words. Only 2,500. More than that, they straight away reject. You send more than that, they will not accept. The system even not accept. Right. So that will be interesting part, and a lot of other journal. Right. Can we submit to different journal at one time? No, the answer is no. Don't do that. This is ethical issue. You never know. Academia is a very small world. Editors talk to each other. Editors talk to each other. So you send to this journal and you send to the other journal. You never know the two editors are actually good friends, and so on. So this is not fun. Or the reviewer, the same reviewer, they'll be fun, right? Take care of the journal. So what type of journal you want to send? Impact factor, Scopus, and so investigate, check, always check, always update whether they're still in Scopus, whether they're still in JCR, and so on. Always check, easily to check. Do they charge? How much is it? If you want to publish in a journal, publisher MDPI, then you must have a proper, and research grant to support, because their publication fees, acceptance fees is quite high in MDPI, especially journal like sustainability in MDPI, right? Promote ourselves, market ourselves, collaborate with supervisors, colleagues, friends, and so on, who are almost in the same field. So this AACIM here is a very good platform for us, for all of you, for every one of us, including myself, to have a collaboration, further collaboration, so that you can collaborate writing a papers and to publish it together. Journals now looking into collaboration, also in the affiliation, right? They look for good papers, present in conferences, even in webinar right now, talk to people, get some feedback, have a website. If the university do not have your own personal one, that'll be good for us. Part 4, the last part. Sorry, take a little bit longer. What is the condition from this perspective? How to get your paper published? How to get the paper published? What kind of tips? What kind of things should be inside? It must be timely, must be relevant, must be evidence-based scientific studies that are well designed, well written, and well explained. It can be very simple study, but then again, it explains the thing and well scientific studies, evidence, and implication of it. All right, like I said just now, even though it's a very localized issue, but we make sure the local issue is bring forward to the international appeal, have a flavor of international, but local issue, right? Timely. So should we do any research that to do with COVID-19? The answer is yes and no. It depends on what you are doing, if you ask me. Highlight the importance, this one must be followed clearly. If they say double spacing, double spacing. If they say single spacing, single spacing. If they say reference is APA, make sure it's APA, and so on. Follow closely. Some journal editors very particular. A little bit of wrong, reject straight, not because your paper is not good, because the format is wrong. The format is wrong. Certain journals right now are quite open, but some are still very strict. Make sure it's clear, logical, easy to read, and then willing to accept reviewers' suggestion. We, as a journal editor, been doing this for quite some time. We normally have this kind of issue. Reviewers give review and then send back to authors, and authors complain back to us. And sometimes reviewer complain back to us. It says, "Hey, the authors didn't do anything. No correction been done." Or the authors will say that, "Oh, the review has really discriminate us." Okay. So that's from journal perspective, our experience. So sometimes we just have to accept what the authors have to accept. Right? This is a typical reviewer. It's like shooting you, ready to shoot. Typical reviewer. This is what some of the points that I get from Professor Ramaya in USM. Rule number 1, reviewers always right. Rule number 2, if the reviewer is not right, see rule number 1. Means that reviewer always right. Always try to address whatever the reviewer says. Do not argue with them. If they suggest you to do this, do that. If you're not doing it, please put some relevant justification. If not, the reviewer will say, not happy. Tell the editor, reject. It can happen. It can happen. First reviewer, okay. Second reviewer, second time review, reject. Or first review, okay. Second review, okay. Third review, reject. I have that experience also as an author. So you get that slowly. Right? So revision, don't be discouraged. Sometimes you get 3-4 times. Sometimes you get up to R5. R5 may review 5 times into this journal, especially the SSCI, Sources Science Citation Index and Science Citation Index, right? What get you accepted? This is few of the last slides. Acceptance here, attention to detail, challenge in the English journal, which mostly are. Presentation is important. Take time revision, acknowledge who have helped you. New, original, previously unpublished. Evaluate your own. Ethical rule must be obeyed. Means that you can't send to 2 journals at one time. So in the end, here is that the way forward is that publishing take time. So sometimes plan ahead. So let's say you want to publish, you want to target for next for a Q1 in Impact Factor journal. Maybe you should start planning right now and publish it next year, 2022. Right? For certain journal, it takes a while. For certain journal, maybe the turnover is a bit fast. So it depends on the capacity of the journal. Also, sometimes you check whether do they publish that much in a year, and how much do they publish, how many, how big are they, right? It takes time, so plan ahead. Requires good planning, writing, finding the right target journal. Like I said just now, you targeting a journal first, or you finish the article first and then you find journal. The choice is there. Quite patient. Long delays are not uncommon. It can be sometimes 1-2 years to publish. 2 years, I have a record of 3 years to get the paper published. Been accepted, but yet to come out in the issue. Yet to come out issue means that you can't report to the university. The university ask you, where's the evidence? Do not wait too long for the rejected paper, submit again and again. Take time. Never argue, referee editors, but do not hesitate if you really think that their point is, if you want to make some point justification. All right. So that's from my point of view. I just share with you because this is IJBS, International Journal of Business and Society. Maybe some of you knows it. It's Q3 and it's all indexes in its corpus, ESCI, ABDC, and the rest of it down here. ASEAN Citation Index. We are in certainly Schemago, ProQuest, EBSCO, HOS, URISH, MCC, and published by University of Malaysia Sarawak. Right. I'll give this as a last part, as a last advice. Not really advice. What what I can share that writing and publishing is like a lot like running a marathon. Train, prepare so that you can finish, to cross the finish line. I mean, running a marathon is not easy. Running 42-kilometer marathon, 42.2 kilometer is not an easy task. So you need to train, you need to prepare the mind and so on to cross the finish line. All right, so that's the end of my talk here. Hopefully I benefited, everyone benefited, learned something. Thank you very much for this, and stop this sharing so that I can ask questions while I'm
All right.
typing the
All right.